and these are the factors which decides the contour intervals, right? Next is the characteristics of contour. This is the predominantly theory question, can be asked in the exam point of view. What are the characteristics of contour? You can have 11 points, I hope. The principal characteristics of contour lines which help in plotting or reading a contour map, or how we can read the contour, right? The variation of vertical distance between any two contour lines is assumed to be uniform, right? The horizontal distance between any two contour lines indicates the amount of slope and varies inversely on the amount of slope. Thus contours are spaced equally for uniform slope. See, in this area, for uniform slope they have the equal interval, uniform slope. Here the slope is 72, 70, 74, 76. So 2 meters, and it is uniform, right? So this box, you look around, this area is have a uniform slope. Closely for steep slope. See, for the same contour, here we are having the same elevational value, but it is very too close, right? So this is steep slope terrain. This area is steep slope, this is uniform slope, right? And widely for moderate slope, see at the end same elevational value only, but this area has a gentle slope compared to this area and this area, right? The steepest slope of terrain at any point on a contour is represented along the normal of the contour at that point. They are perpendicular to ridge and valleys lines where they cross such lines. What ridges and valleys? See, these are the contour lines of equal elevation. These points all are 240 meter elevation, 245, 250, 255, 260, 265. If you join the peak of those things, this line shows the steepest slope. From 40 meter to 265, say 25 meter rise from here. If you see here, from it is drop, right, or fall. But from the top view of the hill, can you imagine how it will be, right? So the steepest slope of a terrain indicated at the contour lines, right? Next one, contours do not pass through permanent structures such as buildings. If you have built a building, the contour won't pass through it. How it is? See, there is a building, equal elevation lines you have drawn, but when it touches the building, here the elevation will get changed, and from here it continues. So the contours across permanent structure, this is the permanent structure, the contour won't pass through it. The remaining point maybe have the same elevation. If you are going to construct something here else, then it will be vanished, right? So this is the fourth characteristics of the contour. Contours of different elevation cannot cross each other. The contour won't get cross each other. Caves and overhanging cliffs are the exceptions, right? And we will see the point and we will repeat the same with the diagram. Contours of different elevation cannot unite to form one contour. Here exception is vertical cliff. Contour lines cannot begin or end on the plan. It may go somewhere else. So in a small plan it won't begin or it won't end. A contour line must close itself but need not be necessarily within the limits of the map. It may end somewhere else. For a particular map it may not end, right? So we try to see those figures. What is overhanging cliff, what is vertical cliff, right? See here, overhanging cliff. Suppose there is a cliff, it's look like a mountain, but when it comes like this, it is called the cliff. Here there is a slope, normally the hill, but it is overhanging, right? So if you try to plot all the elevational values as a map, see it, these 2 points have a same equal elevation. We can drop and we can join those lines. So it may be 100, and here the elevation value get increase, and this level is of same elevation. You can drop those line and you can join similarly the same elevation value as 150, and next level you can draw, and next level. See here the contour get crossed. Normally all the contour won't get crossed except the overhanging cliff, right? So this you have to remember. In the vertical cliff, it's look like a slope, and here it is sharp straight. See here you can drop the same elevational values and we can draw the contour, but wherever you increase, it look like a straight portion and they meet each other. Except this vertical cliff, the contours won't get meet. So you have to remember the vertical cliff is the exception, right? But how the hill can be represented? It is the top will have a high elevation value and low will have the bottom portion of the hill have the low elevation value. So see the broader portion has an elevation value for 500, the center one has 637. It is keep on increasing from outer to inner, from outer to inner. It's this represent, if you see in the map, in the such representation, from outer to inner it is increasing, it is a hill. The vice versa is the pond or any water body. Here the elevational value, here it is higher. When it keep on going down, the lower portion of the pond have a lower elevation value, it will be in the center. So from outer to inner, here it is a drop, here it is increase. So it is a contour representation. From the based on the values represented in the contour map, you can judge what type of it. If you see such a thing, there is a cliff here. If you see it is a pond. If you can see increase towards the center, it is a hill. This thing you have to remember, that is the characteristics of the contour. Next, what is valley and what is ridge, we are keep on repeating. In the mountainous or hilly terrain, the top edges of the hill will be very sharp and have a high elevation, maybe equal elevation. So those things are called the ridges. And the drop, and from the drop there may be a continuation of hill. So the drop is called the valley portion, there the elevation value will be minimum. So these portions will be valley and these portions will be ridges. If you are able to characterize such a thing in the map, you can judge where the water will flow when the rain or some river is flowing. You can judge where it will be flow, right? And based on the elevation value, at what direction it will flow, it from the top, from left to right or right to left, that also you can judge, right? A closed contour line on a map represents either depression or hill, that we have seen in the figure. A set of ring contours with higher value inside depicts the hill, whereas the lower value inside depicts the depression. Contour deflects uphill at valley lines and downhill at ridges line, that we have seen. So it will be like a U shape and in V shape cross the valley at right angles. The concavity in contour lines is towards higher ground in case of ridge and towards lower ground in case of valley, that we have seen in the diagram. Contours do not have sharp turnings. It won't have sharp turnings, right?